Good evening, everyone. System Chalk here with the 144th episode of, I almost called it Cult Simulator Book of Hours, our first run on YouTube and our first run as the artist. And I only remembered it was Numa when I saw the loading screen that said, you know, you don't need to hurry unless it's Numa. And I put too much biographical stuff in the start of these, but I will say I really could use a break. And I'm like, okay, well, you know what? That's, you know, let's not go in thinking that. Let's enjoy the session. We'll get it done. You know, the whole eat the frog idea and all of that, and then yeah, I remember. Oh God, I actually need to pay attention to what I'm up to. So, we're doing some planning. I actually, just give me a second here. I was thinking, okay, well, it's not so long since the last time I recorded. Maybe we could just jump into the game, and then I got hit with this challenge. Okay, well, I did set aside the shop, so let's actually work out the whole day's plan. I'm going to be doing this on paper. I predominantly use Apple products, except for like this desktop. So like my desktop computer is a PC, but pretty much everything else is you know, some various form of Apple screen. But they've been delaying the release of the tablets, so I've been trying to hold out on replacement, but it does mean I'm actually using a lot of pages on Book of Hours. So for door and wall, this one we're going to want to level up to level 7. And right now we have Inescapable Confinement, Curious Hunch, Noom Broom, and Idumos, so that is 3 of the 7 that I will require. Let's just double check that there aren't any more Knock and Forge sitting in. Okay, nope. So right off the bat, we know we need 3 more memories. Now, another thing I want to point out is that I do have a couple of options in terms of restoring elements of the soul. So if I can use an element of the soul very quickly, well, actually no, I was going to say the most likely case, but it's not so much because, oh yeah, no, we're already investigating. So I can actually restore this Tryst. Oh, that's right. Actually, we only need 2 memories because we're already getting a touch. So I can actually renew this Tryst in bed, and I will very likely do that. While I'm at it, I am also preserving a pattern, so we actually just need... Okay, so we've got a pattern and a touch. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Pattern is 5, touch is 6. So I actually just need 1 memory there. So in that case, we'll set aside the Tryst. All right. I'm sure that's all what I'm sure I worked all of that out when I ran into it yesterday or last session, but I'm sure you've all figured out I'm not always good at remembering these details. So the next little bit of planning that I want to do is figuring out exactly how many memories I can sort of get back while still trying to restore something like Ragged Crossroads. Now, this is a little more challenging than it might seem at first, for the simple reason that I've actually tied up the investigate verb. So my ideal would be to just, you know, read a whole bunch of books right now geared towards getting the memories that I need. You know, I have a feeling if I check my desks, I'll actually find the last memory that I needed. Maybe I'll do a quick, like, pause and unpause when the time comes. But yeah, so what I kind of want to do here is I want to sort out how can I break up a skill turn that into memories, and do so in a way that allows me to sort of restore the memory that I already have. So for instance, if we were to do this with I don't think it would be good if I did it with purifications and exaltations. So it'd be something like Ragged Crossroads, or possibly glass blowing and vessel crafting. And then I have a couple of challenges that come up from that decision. So one might be, okay, well, maybe I want to take some useful skills, something like an Edict Martial, and I want to push it up even further because that will allow me to generate memories that are helpful for me. Completely reasonable way of going about that. The alternative would be to say, I actually want to spread that over a bunch of lower skills, and that's just to sort of increase the floor for the skills that I have. I think there's a few. No, there's definitely some that I don't already have, and there's a bit of an argument for doing that. But it's actually sort of it's the same problem. So let's just say here that I wanted to break up snow stories for the sake of the example, and then I said, okay, well, I'm going to use the memories that I get from Snow Stories to bring, Inks of Revelation up to 9, and then maybe we'll bring Applebright Euphonies up to 9 or something like that. The challenge there is not so much the one memory or the one lesson learned that I need to give up. I'll actually have lots of those to do that. But it's just that bringing something from 6 to 7 requires 6 memories, which means I'm going to need 6 elements of the soul, and then to go to 7. From 7 to 8, then I'm going to need 7. So I wind up needing 13 elements of the soul, and I just simply don't have that. And that's for 2 lessons learned. I would clearly be getting more if I broke up Snow Stories. So the most attractive of these options tends to be one of these kind of these middle ones, where it's not so tough that I can't I can't level something up. But I also, it's also not so low that I need to give up, elements of the soul. And, well, I mean, I'm going to be giving up elements of the soul anyway, but I just don't want to, I don't want to run into a situation where how to put it, like I run out of elements of the soul to work with it. And it should maybe be clear, I think I probably... it made sense the way I was talking about it in my head, but it just occurred to me that there's something that I said that probably won't make a whole lot of sense. The number of lessons learned that you get is fixed. So in theory, if I were to do, let's say I got 12 lessons learned, I would be able to take 12 actions with the lessons learned. So whether I did it with the upper end here, maybe not the 9s, but like the 8s and lowers, or if I did it at the lower end, in the end I would still take 12 actions. And if I had 12 actions, I would know at minimum I would need 12 elements of the soul to take those actions. But what I'm really referring to, and this is where I think I stumbled in terms of the explanation, these lower level ones, I can get the memory, I can try and move them up, but is that all that different from when I have, an Edict's Liminal? So for instance, I'm going to be starting with my deeds, my powers, my achievements, and the injustices perpetrated against me. We've already got transformations and liberations, which means that anything with a forge or a moth can be leveled up, and leveled up without the pressures of Numa. So in the end, what I kind of want to do here is I want to find that balance of making sure that my elements of the soul are used properly. I get X number of actions, but if I'm going to be going down that path, I want to try and make the most out of what I'm getting here. Anyway, sorry. I think probably people get the basics, and some of the details of my thought process I've just completely run into the ground. So let's maybe start making some choices here. So I'm going to start, it's not the most efficient use of the day, but let's just quickly peek at the... Okay, timer-wise, it's just the dream. So there's a couple things that I'm going to do. First of all, I'm going to serve some water. And then... I suppose for door and wall, it wouldn't hurt for me to get a salt. I have already mastered this, but I could reread it and perhaps recall a memory. Now, I think I know what's going to happen when I break up these lessons, but I actually want to see what the game says specifically. So I'm going to hold off on any decisions along those lines. Pour it out. Okay, I'm just going to put that in the chamber so that I can remember. And no guests to Hush House. The stars move still, time runs, the clock will strike, Marlowe. This incident has seen its full complement of visitors and is concluded. This Numa will be no incident. Pneumatic visitors will seek a general consultation. So in this case, this was the matter of the feasting few. In Numa, visitors will be concerned with questions of appetite, of blood, and their attendant dangers. Bancroft, once we've begun, there's no end to it. Without the Grail, no intercalate. Without the intercalate, how would the hours keep from... Julian Cosley. I know a few of you are excited about this prospect. Magus, winter-long, controversial philosopher, for an immortal exalted by an hour of silence, especially one who might be dead, he has a great deal to say for himself over the years. Alright, here's the pattern. I've carried a memory like a flambeau safe through the mazes of night. This will complete once dawn has come. So 3.6 seconds before I can renew the tryst. Printed card reads... imposing reading armchair, nestle imposingly. A printed card reads, now probably safe to sleep in this chair, GC. And there's the touch that I needed. Okay. Craft is learnt through the tips of the fingers. Now, the reason why I wanted to do this long sort of preparation is I'm going to... this is going to decide exactly how all my elements of the soul get used today. So if we start with the Ragged Crossroads, we would need to use, let's say, a whist to start off with. So that brightness in the mist is the sun. It might be unwise to gaze into it. You can choose to forget almost everything that you've learned of this skill, since you haven't yet committed it to the Tree of Wisdoms. You will gain 4 many-faceted lessons, 1 fewer than you spent to get this far. For though much abides, something is always taken. Many-faceted lessons can be used to upgrade any skill, but always disappear at dawn. So the important thing to remember here is that you actually get to keep 1 overnight as long as you're willing to sleep on it. So I'm just working out the rates. There is a way that you can sort of calculate it on your own, but I'd really, when I'm dealing with the kinds of precision that I need right here, I'd rather just actually see a record. So 4 with Pearl and Tide. So 8 is tempting. And then I'm going to guess that the 5 is too much. 13. You can kind of see the pattern. Like the one reason why I wanted to write down the pattern is because in the end, what you're really doing is you're just getting a measure of what it costs to get the. So like once you know a little bit of the trend, or essentially if you have kind of 2 consecutive. Numbers, because you know that you spend as much as the current level, so to get Adix Marshall to level 4, to get it to level 5 I would need to spend 4 memories, essentially once you get the range going. So 4 to 8, well, you know it's 4, because it was level 3, and, well, Okay, maybe you don't know that, but basically, once you have the floor, you're like, okay, so to go from 3 to 4, you'll get 4. 4 will give you 8. When you're giving up a level 5, well, you have 5 new memories. Sure enough, 8 plus 5 is 13. And then, presumably, if you were to give up a 6, you would have 19 there. I think I might actually have a 6 that I could demonstrate with the Applebright Euphony, so... But the problem here with... Oh, 19. Hang on. Did I say 16 or 19? Anyways, it should be another 6, so 13 plus 6 is 19. But the problem here is that even if you were to be sort of drowning in elements of the soul, it's actually quite difficult to do 19 increases in time for Numa. So again, I want to be careful. A 4 is kind of the nicest for me, but it's also the riskiest in my opinion. What I'm worried about though is that I'm going to spend most of the time upgrading the 3. So like if I break up the 3, that basically gets me back to 3 and then 2 more upgrades, which really isn't that much. So I'm thinking we give up one of the 4s. Maybe Pearl and Tide or something like that. So, okay, so 3 of those would be spent restoring it. And that would be a total of 6. Actually, that would be 9. Because you need to spend the element of the soul to do the upgrade. So here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Good lord. So we'd actually use up everything just trying to get... Wow. Okay. So this is why we do this exercise. So just taking a look at it here. So let's just take an example of Pearl and Tide. Okay. So I break up Pearl and Tide, and with that I give up 1 element of the soul. Okay. So then we take Pearl and Tide and we bring that back up to level 2. So for that I need a memory and I need an element of the soul. So in that case we would spend 2 more. So that's a total of 3. So then go from 2 to 3, similar idea, 2 memories plus the 1 to upgrade it, so that's 3, so now we're up to 6. And then finally to bring it up to 4, well, we need 3 memories plus the 1 for the upgrade. So now we're up to 10. And then that leaves me with 5 memories, but, sorry, how many did I say I had? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. And I do have, the ability to restore a couple of elements of the soul, but not nearly enough. Okay. So, what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to break up one of the level 3s here. I am going to make sure that I angle it around, making sure that I have the proper elements of the soul. And because I know that I'm going to be limited, once I restore it, I'm going to go the other way around and see just how much I can throw at leveling up something maybe a bit more difficult. So let's say for starters, one important thing for me to remember here is I need to make sure that I can actually restore it. So Ragged Crossroads is a very tempting choice here because I can use the Whist to break it up and then the 2 Arab to level it up. But one problem is if I want to level up Edict's Marshal, I don't have the Edge or the Moon anymore, although I guess I'll be getting a Tryst back before too long. If I did Snow Stories, it's actually the same problem. Oronoscopy Sharps. Watchman's Paradox is the exact same for everything. Lockworks and Clockworks has too much similarity with what I'm trying to accomplish with Door and Wall, and Stone Stories and Coil and Chasm. Ooh. I did not make this easy for myself. Yeah, I think Ragged Crossroads winds up being the best option for me here. Okay. So let's actually, again, the thing that I want to do here, I can't believe it's already 20 minutes in. What I really need to do here is map out the plan. So if we spend a whist to break this up, so then an Arab to get the to level up plus 1 memory, Arab plus 2 memories. So that leaves me with 2 lessons. One, two, three. Okay, so in theory I only have 3. I only have 3 elements of the soul to work with there as well. Yeah, okay. Nope, the more I look at it, the more it's a tough situation. So the other challenge that I run into is that with the limitation on my elements of the soul, it may be that I have 2 lessons that I can work with, but I both need to generate the memories as well as... sorry, I need to generate the memories, and then I need to... Sorry, okay. I spend to level up, and I spend to generate the memories. So even if I want to go for more ambitious increases, I'm still paying back everything from breaking up the winter. Now, I'm still okay doing this, because I have these elements of the soul to work with, but I am going to improvise a little bit more. So we'll start by breaking up the Ragged Crossroads. In Numa, that brightness in the mist, is that the sun? It might be unwise to gaze into it. And the first thing I'm going to do here is actually just try to use as much as I can in the inventory already. So that's Winter and Edge. So Old Wound for the first. And I guess the Hive's Lament and the Wormwood Dream. Feels weird to use such exalted elements of the soul, but, you know, it's what we have, right? Okay, so that gives me a little more breathing room. So I've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 elements of the soul, plus whatever I get from restoring. In fact, I can do the restoration already. Is that justifiable if I am breaking up Ragged Crossroads? Probably better to get something restored sooner rather than later. A quick nap in a warm bed with something comforting to drink while the winds chase the clouds and the clouds chase the sun. Okay. So, after all of that, what do we have? Well, we know that I can restore everything back to the way that it was. So I have 2 free lessons. We have 2, 3, 4, 5... Okay, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7... Okay, so technically I can generate 7 memory. Actually, I can't. It's better to think of that as being able to generate 5. That's 5 total. And the reason for that is I'm... of those elements of the soul, I need one of them to level up. So... what this might allow me to do, if I generate 4 Edict's Martial memories, I can generate one more memory, and that can go into Magaphine Mysteries, Anbury Lapidary, Sky Stories, Disciplines of the Scar, etc. So yes, I think we're going to go for another point in Edicts Martial. With that in mind, we have Anbury and Lapidary. Okay, so if I can, points into Anbury and Lapidary would be my preference. So now I actually need to make sure that I can deliver. So we'll say we put the Faust there. Or we can use the metal. The memory can be whatever, so that's no problem there. So for Edicts Martial, we would want Edge or Moon memories. So the good news here is that can use the Tryst that I'm generating. And then we would need 4 memories. So we can say contradiction. Oh, you know what? I should actually be paying closer attention. With Anbury and Lapidary, I don't need to generate a memory because I can use the Ascendant Harmony for that. So it's only the Earth sign that goes unused. And I mean, technically, I could try and find something that would use that as well. Furs and Feathers, for instance, would use the would use it. But then, you know, we're in the same boat, right? I don't think we have anything. I want to level up Edicts Martial, so I don't think we have anything that would wind up using... Well, hang on. So if I were to use this with a level 2 instead... So I've got Lantern, Sky, Nectar, and... Okay, so if I wanted to move a level 2 up... Or better still... Okay, let's... The basic requirement that I would have would be 4 memories for Edicts Martial. Edge, Moon. Yeah, so none of these satisfy Edicts Martial. So technically I have 2 memories. If I have Lantern, Sky, Nectar, or Scale. Okay, so if I use that as the principal, so 1, 2, 3, 4 spoken for. I feel like I'm making a mistake here. Nope, because we've already got the Tryst accounted for. Okay, so technically I have 1 more that I can build on, and then 1... Okay, so technically I should be looking for a 3 to upgrade to a 4 that has Nectar, Scale, Lantern, or Sky. I should maybe specify, I'm looking for Nectar, Sky, Nectar, Lantern, Scale, Sky, Scale, Lantern. Oh, so close. Don't think I can satisfy that. I could, however, use sights and sensations. Okay, so if I do... I really need to build this out. So if I took sights and sensation, so Faust, then we put harmony, and then 2 memories. Okay, so what I would do in that case with the Edict Martial, we would apply metal, health, fet, and core. Wait. Yeah, and then I'm one short. Drat. Okay, so I'm gonna have to lower my ambitions and go for a 2 instead. So 2 to a 3, orchids and narcotics, putrefactions, calcinations, spices and savors, stitches and bindings, herbs and infusions. Well, we might actually be able to throw both of these in which case I still have plans for them. So let's actually take a minute to see if we can resolve this. Nope. Okay. Let's move orchids and narcotics. That actually lines up with a bunch of other stuff that I want to do. So let's maybe do bells and braziers. Okay. Again, I'm sorry for all the time on this. The majority of this has been talking, and I do want to try and keep the episodes at a decent length. But let's actually get the job done here. So Trista's spoken for. We'll say bells and braziers. We'll use the metal to level it up. So now what I want to do is I want to get my... I guess bells and braziers would be the first thing that I level up. So in that case, let's snag a sky. We can get some good old-fashioned music in this. So the Perugian Diaries ought to do the trick. I've already mastered this, but I could reread it and perhaps recall a memory. Alright, next up, I'm actually going to use one of the... I think I should use one of the core next. Okay, so everything that I need for bells and braziers has been taken care of. Now I need the... Well, if I'm generating the 4 for Edict's Martial, that's all of these ones here. So, we will go to Nona's desk first. And with that, we will get a contradiction. I'm going to write these down because I'm not going to remember them in the next episode. Fear should be next. So I figure probably Confounding Parable and Intuition are fairly reliable. I'm trying to remember. I feel like I've read the Devoured Tantra before, but let's do that. And then for intuition... Oh, I made a mistake. I shouldn't have used that desk. I don't think Collar's desk will... Yeah. And I can't really use these. Oh, the Vagabond desk saves me. Okay. Yeah, so from history to eternity. Okay, so in the next episode, what we're going to do is level up all of the required elements of the... Or, sorry, level up all the required skills. The target of opportunity for me will be to renew... in fact, I can pour out another glass of water. The target of opportunity will be to try and get some of the Numa plants. I'm less certain of my ability to do that, but that's why I'm pouring out another glass of water to see if I can bring back one of the core or the health in time. Other than that, I'm sorry, again, I'm sorry to take all the time on this sort of stuff, but I was caught unawares, so I wanted to do my best to try and make a little bit more of the Numa. We'll be short the Earth sign, but you know what? That's not. I don't think that's too much of a hardship. So I think we'll be in a good spot. Anyways, no episode on Tuesdays as usual, but I will see you all Wednesday for the implementation of today's planning. Until then, take care.